Hey everyone, I'm Yvette Lloyd, host of Life Her podcast. First and foremost, I want to thank y'all so much for supporting my book. It means so much to me. And the crazy part about it, in less than 24 hours, I hit bestseller. And it was just so exciting to even know that it reached that level. It was exciting to know that I had that much support. I didn't know y'all loved me that much. But it was just so amazing. I hit bestseller in self-employment, home-based businesses, and women in business. So I'm really excited about that. It was very inspiring for me to even reach that peak, that level. It lets me know that you guys hear me. Like you really hear me when it comes to me being on my podcast, getting to know me and everything. And it's so hard sometimes because you feel like you don't have support, but in reality you do have support. It's just you just want so much more out of yourself. And I will beat myself up to the end. You hear me? I really would. But I'm trying to get better with that because self sabotage is real. I'm telling you, and nothing could ever satisfy us when it comes to entrepreneurship because it's just us being on our own and everything. And it's so crazy. Speaking of entrepreneurship, I've seen a lot of people go back to work. Some people been in entrepreneurship for so many years and they stopped working, but it's like 1 minute you up with so much money, next minute you making like $20 or something. And you just be like, no, something has got to give. I just want y'all to know it is okay to go back to work. It is okay to have a 9 to 5. It is okay to have a setback. It is okay to still go to work and run your business at the same time. However, you got to put you first at the end of the day. You got to stop caring what people think, what people say, anything in that nature. So please understand that it is okay. I promise you it is. But furthermore, I want to get off into this episode where becoming a boss without a blueprint. So I didn't have a blueprint since I stepped out of high school in 2001. Got graduated high school at Bookville High School. And right from there, later in that August, I ended up going to Kent State University. Man, I'm telling y'all, it was a lot when it comes to me going to Kent State and just experiencing college overall because I didn't have any cousins or anyone to talk to when it comes to staying on campus, going to class, studying, just doing things that what college kids do. I had no blueprint. I had no one guiding me and telling me anything because I was the first one to go to college. And it was a lot for me. And during that time in that first year, me going to college, I got all F's. I got all F's, and it was just from the thought of everything that I had going on. It's like we were taught that success follows a straight line. When me going to graduate, go to college, then get a job, and then climb the ladder, it was a lot, especially for an 18-year-old. It's like you're still trying to find your path. You're trying to figure out who you are, your different characteristics, what you really love. You actually being out on your own, doing you. That is a lot. It's all the pressure in the world. And it makes me think back when my mom used to be like, okay, you want to be an adult so bad. Because, sometimes when we got mad at our parents, I can't wait till I get on my own and do my thing. And in reality, child, please, no, you don't. No, you don't. Because it is too much out here for you to do. But what happens when that path doesn't fit who you are? And that's what space I had got into. So when I was getting um all F's in my first year, and it wasn't because I wasn't capable or anything like that. It was just because I just wasn't aligned to what I wanted to do. I was chasing a version of success that wasn't mine, and that was my grandmother being in the medical field, my aunt being in the medical field, my other grandmother in the medical field, and then everyone else in my family working in construction or nursing homes or lawyers and doctors and stuff like that. So I thought that was the direction I need to go. Cause a lot of times we think like my family does this is their line of work. So we're gonna follow that lead, which some people do follow that lead. But me, on the other hand, I wanted to follow the lead that where I wanted to lead, were the things that I found myself being passionate about. And what I was telling you on my last episode, how I was always feeding the community. I was always doing stuff for the younger kids in my neighborhood, and I'm young myself. So my nephew was also born in 2001. And when he was born, I was in the process of trying to look for a job. I wanted somewhere to work. No one would hire me. No fast food, no grocery stores, no nowhere. Wasn't nobody hiring me. They was just like, no, no, no. I had no work experience at all due to my mom not letting me work and letting me be a kid playing basketball and running track and stuff. So it was just what it is. However, my nephew ended up enrolling into a daycare center. And one day I went with my brother. Him and my nephew used to always come to my dorm room and chill with me. And at this moment, my brother was just up there chilling with me. And he said he had to go get my nephew from daycare. So I went to go with my brother, and I'm like, daycare? Y'all, please forgive me, but I didn't know nothing about daycares. I didn't even know daycares existed. I'm not even gonna hold you. I did not know nothing about daycare centers at all. I'm like, a daycare? What is a daycare? What do they do there? What do the kids do? Because I never went to daycare. I never went to camps, all like that. I used to go to the YMCA and stuff, but daycare, that was just something new to me. So I had no clue about it or what it was or anything. So once we got there, I'm like, this is so cool. Then I seen this lady. She was like, hi. And I'm like, hi. I was like, are y'all hiring? And she was like, yes. So I end up filling out the application, and I'm sitting here like, I'm probably not even gonna get the job, but I'm gonna fill this out anyway. Lo and behold, they called your girl, and I got hired. I was so freaking happy that I got hired in. And from there, it's like I went from the infant room to the toddler room to the preschool room, pre-K room, school age room. Next thing you know, I'm hitting in the kitchen, cooking the food, preparing it. Then next thing you know, I'm in the office. Baby, when I hit that office, y'all, it was a done deal. I knew what I wanted to do because I saw how it operated. I saw how the kids were first. I saw how the staff were. But then when you hit that office, when you get the running things and making sure everybody is doing everything, I liked it. I loved the feeling of it. I love paperwork. Like, paperwork is my thing. I got that from my grandmother. She used to be so good when it comes to paperwork and putting things in order. And that is me. I'm a paperwork person. So once I started getting into all of that, I'm like, okay, I got something going on here. So I was really excited about it. But at the end of the day, for me being there, it was the most beautiful experience of me finding who I was, because when I was going to Kent State at the same time while working, I'm in school to be a registered nurse. And I already messed up my first semester already. Then I end up getting as far as me getting into my clinicals when I started um you know getting into the cadavers and stuff like that, identifying different body parts and all that. Then I end up getting into working in the sick childcare unit where I had to do my hours of service in the children's hospital. And it was really sad. I really didn't like that part of it. And me being a workaholic and being so active, my grandmother heard of these. She was telling me about these classes where you could become an EMT in a matter of months. So at night, when I got off work, I started going to school part time. Then I was going to work, and then I was doing a late class at becoming an EMT. So once I started doing my clinicals for EMT, so I'm going from children's hospital and then I'm going to the fire station. Y'all, how I manage all these hours in one day, I have no clue. I couldn't even tell you. But once I got into becoming an EMT, y'all, my first week, I said, hell no. I am not about to do this. You are not about to put me in this predicament because you got one person. She's talking about she's going to take her IV out her arm, and she had HIV, and it like terrified me. And she was so drunk. She was so drunk, and I'm just like, no, this cannot happen. Please, please. I was like praying for dear life. Please, lady, don't pull this out. And she's known for doing some crazy stuff at the same time. And I'm not going to spoil y'all with everything, but when you get my book, you get to see the rest of the story. But moral of the story is I did not become an RN. From RN, I was going to want to become a brain surgeon as well. It was just too much schooling for me. So I ended up shifting and I went into early childhood education. Once I got in early childhood education, I graduated that so fast. It's a difference between you going to school for something and you think it's for you, but once you start figuring out who you are and what you want to do, you just get good grades. You fly by it because you know it so well. And I'm saying, like, I could have been out of school if I just went for early childhood in the first place. And even before that, even when I was in nursing and wanted to be a brain surgeon, y'all, I went from a psychology and occupational therapy, speech therapy. I did not know what I want to do. I was a career student at that point, and I was wasting a lot of time and a lot of money, a lot of student loans, everything. I was just putting myself in debt, not even knowing I was putting myself in debt. And it was just ridiculous. But once I figured it all out, once I got into early childhood education, I ended up graduating in 2010. I ended up graduating. So, y'all, yes, it took me 10 years to figure it out. I'm not even about to act like it didn't, but it took me 10 years after graduating high school to actually figure out what I wanted to do. And like, literally, here's the truth though. Most people won't even admit it, but just because something is like respected, it doesn't mean it's your assignment. And I had to learn that along the way. I had people even laughing at me, be like, oh, you're a career student. Okay, I don't care. At least I'm doing something with my life. At least I'm trying and I'm still pushing forward. I'm not giving up. I'm not out here doing stupid stuff. I'm not out here getting in trouble anywhere but being in the grave or jail. And so I really didn't care at that point what anybody was saying. And 9 times out of 10, most people that had something to say, they ain't had nothing going on in their life, they dang old self. And that's how I usually work for real. So you really don't have nothing to worry about when it comes to that. But when leadership shows up real early, and from me being actually in the office and doing so many things, entrepreneurship didn't really start like for me as a business. It started as a responsibility. I thought it was my responsibility to become an entrepreneur because from as a child, when I was feeding kids in my community, I was organizing stuff, I was leading, I was caring. And even when I was working in the daycare center where my nephew was at, but all the time I thought it was just my heart. And now I know it was wiring me like over and over again. Like leadership shows up like so early to a point for me showing up at a young age in elementary school, just doing things. And sometimes it shows up as a burden before it actually looks like your purpose. So you have to understand that. But being a natural leader without guidance is extremely dangerous because you're a carry more than what you're meant to. And nobody teaches you how to put it down. And I didn't have no one teaching me that. So it was just a lot. So it was just to a point where I didn't become a boss overnight, but I worked every role: the infant room, toddler room, the kitchen, the office, and I didn't skip any steps. I lived them. Like I literally lived them. It's something that I want you to hear clearly. Experience builds capacity. Y'all hear me? I'm about to say this one more time. Experience builds capacity. And even though you don't like what you're doing, it's building you in so many ways that you have no idea how much it'll help you in the long run. And you could be a help to someone else as well. But when you don't have a blueprint, you become the blueprint. So you have to understand how much of a blueprint that you are, and knowing that you are able to help others in so many ways, even though we're looking all over for the blueprint when the blueprint is within you already. It's just there. You learn what works by watching what fails. You gain wisdom by surviving your mistakes, and you also build confidence by figuring out when quitting would be easier. So ain't no quitting over here, honey. We are not quitting at all. And like for real, but let's be honest, the vision without structure will honestly bankrupt you. You will go literally bankrupt. I was making money, but I didn't have systems. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't have financial structure. I was funding everyone but myself, pouring into others without like nothing, like no one pouring back into me. And eventually it caught up to me. But here's a lesson: good intentions don't protect businesses, structure does. So you got to understand how having structure, because once I end up figuring everything out, I had a parent approach me at that daycare center was and she saw my work ethic. She saw how the love I pour into the kids in the daycare. I didn't know she was watching me for so long until she started describing different things that I was doing. She felt my aura, and having a positive energy, like aura, it means a lot. Good character means a lot. You never know who's watching you. So you always have to be your best. You can't treat people wrong. You have to do what's right. You have to walk in faith. You have to be good to people because you just never know who's who. And from her watching me, she trusted me to have me watch her daughter during second shift of from when she was going to work. So I started watching this little girl at my house second shift because I was working first shift. So from me doing that, I started braiding the little girl's hair, and she started paying me to braid her hair as well. Then once I was doing that, other people at her job, they were starting to say, "Hey, who watch your daughter?" Next thing you know, I'm getting more and more parents. And these are private pay parents. They were paying me what they were paying at the daycare center. That is huge because as a young girl, a lot of people will try to take advantage of you and pay you less due to your age. But my character and how I showed her and how she watched me do so many things, she knew what I was worth. A lot of people know what you're worth, but sometimes people will try to lowball you and everything too as well. So you have to be careful with that. But I started to get so many parents, I had no choice but to start a daycare center later on. I didn't start it right away. I just started in 2008 as a private pay. And then I just wanted to just build from there and have the kids that I have. And it was really, shoot, it was like working two jobs for real because I was honestly making more money babysitting kids than I was actually working at the daycare center at the time because they wouldn't even give me a raise. I was working literally every position, even with me working in the office, they ain't even give me no raise. My pay didn't go nowhere. It didn't go nowhere at all. And then I just really wasn't managing my money either like I was supposed to. But a lot of things happen. But later on in life, as me continuing to build my foundation and everything that I was doing, later on in life with me going through so much, opening up my own daycare center, then opening up another one, then another one. Sometimes when everything falls apart, losing everything, whew, I'm telling you, it changes you a lot. When the businesses fail, when people betray you, when grief hits back to back, that's when you learn who you really are. Even though I was going through many steps, I was learning myself along the way in my 20s and even in my 30s and late 30s. It's like, wow, like in my late 30s, that's when a lot of things started to kick in. A lot of times I felt like giving up way before then because, I was an entrepreneur for 17 years. So it was a lot for me. And with me not having systems and structure when it comes to running a business and me learning as I go from an in-home daycare to having a commercial building daycare. When I opened up that commercial building, I did that on my own. I did that by myself. I didn't have anyone teaching me any of this. I literally studied sun up to sundown on what to do, how to do it, how to run it. I didn't know nothing about having staff. Didn't know nothing about liability taxes, nothing about filing taxes. I just knew I had to file. I just knew what I had to pay. I just was just paying. That's it. I was just paying. I didn't have no type of informative information to actually tell me what I was doing, you know? And that's why I say, like, when you get in the failing stages and when you keep going and you trying to keep going, that's when you learn who you are. Resilience isn't loud and it doesn't even announce itself. It just shows up so quietly when you get up and away. It's like any way that it goes, it's just gonna go. I had to learn that in many, many different ways. I had to rebuild my mindset before I could rebuild my life because you can't skip one. Because if you're rebuilding your life, you not knowing nothing. You're not healing. You're not trying to go on straight and narrow. You're not trying to educate yourself. You're not trying to do absolutely nothing. So my mission was to educate myself, to do something about it, to make me become a better version of me. But it comes with the mind. The mind can control anything, like literally anything. And that's why the millionaire mindset isn't about money. It's about who you are and who you become when there's no safety net. Because who is telling you anything? We end up becoming so lonely, it don't even make no sense. You be like, what am I here for? I mean, seriously. Sometimes you just be like, what am I doing? I'm just doing this just to be doing it. No, you have a purpose. You have a reason why all of this is happening. And becoming a boss without a blueprint has literally taught me so many things. It taught me that discipline beats motivation, structure beats hustle, healing beats hiding, faith beats fear. You don't start from zero when you fail. You start from experience. And once you figure that out, you will start to build from there. And experience, when paired with wisdom, is priceless. It is extremely priceless. You have absolutely no clue how amazing that is. Like, it is simply amazing. And you're going to have to keep going. Like, it's no other way. It is no other way. I wrote this millionaire mindset shift for the person who is like tired of starting over emotionally. This book isn't about overnight success, it's about becoming unbreakable. And I really just want you to know that so much of this can help you in this book. And you can even take notes. I like to take notes, and I just wanted to make this clear, seriously. And like, this episode is really for the person who didn't have a roadmap, no mentor, no connections, no blueprint, just a vision and a whole lot of pressure. And if you felt like you were trying to figure life out in real time, this episode is definitely for you, because becoming a boss without a blueprint it will either break you or it'll build something in you that has never been taken away. And that's what I wanted to do. I want you guys to understand that no hardship is on purpose. It's to give you purpose. And you have to stand on that. What they say, stand on business. I want y'all to stand on business. And if this episode has really spoke to you, the book will meet you where you are. And it'll help you shift what you think, how to build, and how to move forward. Because I share some experiences of some many, many loopholes, so many things that I actually went through. So again, if you building without a blueprint, don't rush it. Just know that you are the blueprint, and what you're building cannot be copied. A lot of people may try to copy what you do, duplicate everything. That's not your focus. It's not even your business at this point. It can't be stolen and it can't be replaced at all. This isn't a delay. This is development. And development always pays off. You're not behind, you're being built. And you better know this, because I want y'all to think back on listening to this episode. And then once you hit a certain peak in your life, it doesn't even have to be a person that is in the beginning stages of their business. It can be somebody that has been doing it years as me or longer than me, and you still just gonna feel different. You still going, if you're still feeling the same and you don't have that outlet or no one to talk to or anything, I really pray that this episode has helped you in so many ways, because it is needed. Mindset is everything. Spending time with yourself is everything. Self-care is everything. Putting you first is everything. Boundaries is everything. For me to be in the mindset and position that I'm in today, I can honestly say that I'm even inspired by myself alone, because after the things that I've been through in life, and for me to get out of darkness, for me not feel like I want to be here anymore, or even just exist like overall, and to be able to write a book like this and have the energy, the courage, the mindset to write someone else, it lets me know how God has positioned me to give this information to someone else. And I am happy to not gatekeep. A lot of people gatekeep a lot of things. A lot of people get in whatever they call master classes, courses, and they still come out with nothing. And I know for a fact after you read my book, you're going to come out with something. And I'm going to feel good about it. I feel like you have spent your money for something that has given you a purpose. Because some people will spend their money on something and they still find themselves stuck. At least I know for a fact you still won't be stuck after you read this. You won't be stuck. You will have clarity. You will have some sort of comfortability there, to a point you won't feel alone at that very moment, because we feel that all the time. You will find some sort of connection somewhere, because we really don't hear people speak in this form. So I really pray that you guys find so much clarity within reading my book, and also continue on to listen to my book series episodes every week right here on Life Her Podcast. Also, you will see in the notes where you can purchase the book. And you can also, I'm uploading these as well on my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe on Life Her Podcast because I also upload it on there as well so that people can get the feel of everything. So many people is on so much stuff. It's just so needed. But thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you love on you and have a blessed one.